everybody. This time I'm going to be narrating separately after the video. So what I've used here is a little diamond burr, as you could see that I showed you close up, and I have outlined very basically the Kingfisher on a lovely wine glass. I am now going to use a white Arkansas stone. Talk amongst yourselves. The little silent patches. Oh dearie me, I'm not quite sure how to do this effectively. I might put some music in between. Anyway, right, so I've loaded up the white Arkansas stone. And into the eye I go. Engraving in small round circles, going a little bit deep, not too deep. As I've said before, you don't want the eye popping out, but you just want to have that little curve in the glass. You can see the dust coming off here, and that'll be coming off the burr as well as the glass itself. You can see it's produced a half tone. It's not as light as the diamond effect. It's a duller effect, so it's much smoother on the glass. Now you can see I've turned the glass so that it's more comfortable to pull the half-toned effect towards me. It's important to get a nice, neat, smooth line with this white Arkansas. Sometimes you may find it comfortable to pull it towards you or push it away from you. I think what is not comfortable is when you go from side to side. It's a little bit awkward and difficult to make neat, straight lines. Right. Oh, that's blurred out a bit. Anyway, it is a small diamond coated burr, and I've got my water drip feed going here so that lubricates this diamond nicely and produces a lovely cut. And this is going along the top of the beak. I will be looking at a reference picture as I'm engraving this, and obviously that is what it is like in the picture. It's lighter on the top than on the bottom, but I will be doing some shading anyway as we go along. Really does make a difference using the water. It just turns the glass into butter. It just makes it so easy to cut into it. So again, I'll be looking at the picture and looking at the lighter areas on the picture that need to be engraved first. Doesn't really matter which way you engrave things, but I'm just working with the lightest bit first. Right, so you can see there's quite a lot of glass dust floating over it, and it's wet and dull. So to have a good look at it and check your progress, dry it off and let it come to light, and then you can see quite clearly what you've done so far. And you can see the two shades going on there, just two variations of shades at the moment, with obviously many more to come. Looks like I have grabbed a diamond burr, and now I'm working dry and I'm adding some more highlights. Working dry will sometimes make marks that are brighter than when you're using water. And this is okay when you're working on a good quality glass. If you are working on cheap hard glass, then it is likely to chip and look nasty. But there's a nice fresh diamond on working dry on a glass is lovely and bright. So I'm just adding a few more highlights. Obviously we will do many more at the end as well, but in the meantime I'm sort of building like painting. It's like building up layers in a painting. Right, this diamond burr that I've showed you very, very briefly is a sintered diamond, which means that the grit goes all the way through and it lasts a very long time. And what it does, it changes shape slightly, it will change size, it will get smaller in time, but it does last very, very well. The reason why I don't have all my burrs as sintered diamonds is because they are quite expensive, and I've never really thought about having all of them as sintered. It's easier just to buy the cheaper ones. They last pretty well if you look after them, the normal diamond burrs. Now, working in the direction of the little feathery effects, never sideways or in little circles or anything like that. If this is the way the feathers go, then make it look feathery as you're working along. Because even though you're going to fill in a large area, it's the brush strokes, as it were, need to be in the right direction for that realistic effect. And also, when you're going to be using the rubber later on, it will pick up the slight grooves, because obviously I'm not working very deep. I am working on the surface here, and but there will be a few tiny little ridges that a rubber will pick up as you go along. Right, looks like I've picked up a little rubber. It's very skinny little brown rubber. It's quite hard. It's not a very, very soft one. It's hard-ish. And I am rubbing into the eye where I have previously engraved with the white Arkansas. And because the white Arkansas is quite a smooth stone, no, okay, now I'm showing you a close-up. Interesting. Anyway, so the rubber will make an easy job. Now we have a little diamond. The rubber is very easily polishes out the white Arkansas, because the white Arkansas is quite smooth in the first place. So with this little tiny diamond, I am just adding some highlights into the eye. I often feel engraving with my fingers. I think I do that automatically. It's quite important. And then I also feel the tops of my burrs. As soon as I pick them up to put them in, I feel them. You can tell straight away, you know, obviously with experience, you can tell what condition your diamond burr is in, whether it's smooth and needs to be thrown away, or whether it's nice and fresh, or whether it's too rough. Here I've got a green stone, which is slightly smoother than a diamond, this particular one, although it's not behaving like it here. I think I'm about to smooth it out on a white stone block, because that should be much softer tone. So yes, that's exactly what I'm going to do. It's picked up some rough edges, and just smoothing it out will give it that half tone. So I'm just going to lightly go over the engraving, and you will see in a moment that will be a half tone. There you go. I don't want to see any holes in this bird, so even the very darkest area will be engraved. So at this point I'm just lightly shimmering over the top with this stone. It gives you a tone that you can work with. You can make it lighter, you can make it darker, you can leave it as it is. It just covers a large area nicely. Right, zooming in, and actually it doesn't often pay to zoom in, because sometimes I zoom in and I don't realize it's gone blurred, but I think that's all right. I've got what once was quite a long burr. It's called a rat's tail burr, and it's long and skinny, and it has diamonds all the way down to all around the outside of it. And as the top wears off, you hold it against a diamond or stone, and it just takes off the top and gets you down to some fresh diamond. And so after some time it gets shorter and shorter, and as you obviously can see, it is quite short at this point in time, but it's got fresh diamonds on the edges. And so what I'm doing here is I am working dry and just giving this little bird some eyelids. And with the brown rubber again, just once again making it a little bit darker. I've probably sped it up a little bit more and maybe pressing a little bit harder, trying to get as dark as I can. Right, this is a soft grey rubber, a lovely, lovely burr. This is the one, as I've mentioned before, you can actually shade just by holding it in your fingers for a very gentle shade. Slightly abrasive, and it does a really, really good job, as you can see already, just barely touching the stone that we've gone over the top of the diamond with. Because the stone is a half tone, it's just easily polishing it. Pressing it slightly harder makes it polish a little bit more. Right, so back to a diamond burr again. You can see I felt the top of it. I think that one's quite nice and sharp, and I am just picking up some highlights yet again. You could also use the little rat's tail for this, but I think the area that I'm working in doesn't really show a feathery effect. It is just a white area on the picture. Right, so that's the end of that for the moment. I hope you enjoyed that. And how about a competition? I will be putting up the second half of the engraving of this Kingfisher in the beginning of April, and soon after that you guys can finish your own little Kingfisher if you want to take part. Send in a little JPEG to me, a little picture of your bird. Email it to me, that is the best, and I will run a little competition, the details of which I will let you know nearer the time. I will make a plan, probably a prize of a burr or something like that. Nothing spectacular, but I think it will be rather fun. Okay, so until the next one, bye guys.